What's good, guys? Rey Ángel here. Before I let the interview start, I must inform that unfortunately I do not have the entire interview on camera. This camera has been giving me a bunch of issues since I've been in Atlanta. So with that being said, I got the first 10 minutes on camera. So once that footage is up, I'm probably going to loop the same footage just so there's a visualizer in the background. But I still have the entire interview. With that being said, let's get it.
You're locked in with Atlanta's hottest hip-hop station. The Hype 87.3.
That's right. It is your girl, Tampa Mystic, and we are live right here at the Hype 87.3. Good morning, ATL. We starting early today because guess what? We got Cleveland in the building. Shout out to Rey Ángel. What's going on, family? How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm super excited to be here. I love being in ATL. Everyone here is super cool. Everyone here is just got great energy, and I'm excited to get this going.
Absolutely. Listen, I was going to say the same thing about you. You have great energy. You know, both of you guys came in here, positive vibes, early in the morning, good energy. I'm loving it, man. Definitely.
Yes, I'm super excited.
Give us a brief introduction.
Yeah, so again, my name is Rey Ángel. I'm coming from Ohio. I was originally from Sandusky, Ohio, so shout out to the 419, but now me and my girl, we're staying in Cleveland in the 216. I started off originally just as a producer, and then I kind of ended up moving to Cleveland to take music more serious. I kind of just started recording off my own music, and here we are today.
Listen.
I produce all my own music. I engineer all my own music. I master my own music. I promote my own music. Got my girl with the camera over there. We record our own music. I would like to say I'm a man of multiple trades.
Now, you have to be, absolutely, because we save on coin by doing that.
100%.
It's an expensive business.
So expensive.
So expensive. So for one, I think you, like you said, you engineer your stuff. You mix and master your own music. Let's just hone in on that for a second.
Yeah.
What I love about that so much is, one, like we said, you save a lot of money. But two, who better to get your sound exactly the way you want it than you?
Yes, I was actually going to say exactly that. So I will say at first I was kind of getting assisted mixing. Like I would have someone else like mix and master my music. And not saying that he didn't do a good job because, you know, he helped make my sound what it is today. But just like what you said, no one knows how you want to sound but you yourself. You know what I mean? No one knows exactly what you want to go for besides you. So, you know, I feel like that can only really take you so far. So honestly, I recommend any artist to learn how to mix, master, record, and especially just nowadays, you know, it's so like easy accessible. We got like GarageBand, BandLab, you know what I'm saying? Like there's just so many open accessibility things that you can do these, like you're able to do these things, you know what I mean? You don't need to have a super crazy fancy studio. I mean, you'll get the best quality out of that, don't get me wrong, but to get things started, to get it kicked off, like you don't really need to spend too much money to do so. So
that is facts. I tell artists all the time, like, you know, you can buy good used equipment. Pawn shop should be your best friend. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes, 100%.
My significant other is an audio engineer, and same thing at our house. He turned one of the bedrooms into like a home studio, and he got the Apollo Twin. He got
nice. He got the whole thing.
The Yamaha HS8s, all from a pawn shop at a really good price, and they're in beautiful condition because a lot of people get hard up on money, so they go pawn it, right?
Yeah.
Definitely. So about 3 years ago, you started producing.
That's correct.
Take us back to 3 years ago when you started producing. What made you decide that was a route that you wanted to go?
Honestly, I just like creating my own environments, my own vibes. So like, it's kind of, I just love production. I just love sound. Oddly enough, because like the kind of music I make, the album that got me into production was actually Kendrick Lamar's "To Pimp a Butterfly."
Okay.
And I just remember walking to school one day, having the headphones in, and just hearing that funk, jazz, and just something about it just hit me so different. And my first kind of phase of music was actually kind of like 90s West Coast hip hop. I love G-Funk. Like,
man,
that's just such a good wave. Like, I love The Chronic, one of my favorite albums of all time. I love like Doggy Style. I love like Warren G. Long
Live Nate Dogg.
Long Live Nate Dogg. I really fuck with DJ Quick as well. I feel like he's low-key slept on in terms of like that kind of feel. Not too many people bring him up, but I just love like that kind of like production. I just love that sound. So that was kind of like my introduction to like I guess being into production, if you know what I mean. And then what really got me into it was, I guess I started listening to Travis Scott. I'm a huge Kendrick Lamar fan, and I remember the Goosebumps video came out.
Yes.
And just hearing that, I guess like that was my introduction to like trap production, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So once I kind of heard that, you know what I mean, it just kind of delve into a whole new realm, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. And I love Travis Scott too, man.
Yeah, I can see.
Such a vibe.
Yes.
And ironically, one of my first interviews 13 years ago was with Warren G. So big shout out.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
He and I have become so cool since then. So
wow. Yeah, shout out to the regulators out there.
Regulators, definitely. And it's funny too, because I always loved West Coast music growing up.
Yeah.
Always was a fan. NWA, and like you
Yes.
said, just man, such a fan.
Yeah, just their sound, even now, like
Yes.
they still have that like smooth, like they just have such a smooth sound, and it still is present to this day.
Absolutely. I like Texas sound, and I also like the Memphis sound too.
Yes, I do like the Memphis sound, man. They know how to get it going over there for sure.
Absolutely. So on the production side,
Mm-hmm.
are you producing multiple genres?
I would like to say so, yes. Now, I primarily produce for myself.
Yeah.
I do send out beats to other people, but honestly, they kind of rarely get used. But I do like to explore all sorts of genres. So my main kind of genre that I actually focus on is alternative music.
Okay.
All of my production is based off of like pop punk and like punk and just alternative rock as a whole. But I still try to mix that like hip hop aspect with it. Like I know I sent you the song Style.
Yes.
That song, fun fact, originally it was supposed to be more of like a sad song because I had like the samples for them, and at first I was gonna go for more of like a sad early 2000s R&B type of feel.
Yeah.
And I was kind of just mixing the beat for that. I accidentally turned off one of the guitars, and I basically made the beat to what it is today. And I was like, this kind of goes too hard to be on some sad shit. So yeah, I got the song for what it is today. So a lot of my stuff is based off of like punk and like pop punk, but I tried to like, because I am a producer, I tried to kind of mix all of that, whether it's like with hip hop or like R&B. I got stuff that is more on the alternative side, but I know one of my most recent tracks I also did like a Jersey Hall track,
yeah,
but still mixed with like punk. And I know I still got some stuff in the vault, like I got some like reggaeton stuff, but it's still mixed with like punk. So I do try to like mix up genres in that particular instance, just so it don't get stale. You know what I mean?
Nah, that is facts. You're slick, kind of creating your own genres per se. You're not following what everybody else is doing.
Yeah, I kind of try to do my own thing. Whatever sounds cool to me, it sounds cool.
Absolutely. So 3 years ago you started producing, but then 2 years ago you started actually making music.
Yes, that's correct.
You probably had an itch for it. You're like, man, I love music. Let me go ahead and start creating my own. How did that really come about?
Well, so I always knew that I wanted to record music. I guess it's just getting into like the habit of it. I feel like just being a producer at first, like, and especially kind of starting off with the sound that I did. I guess you kind of just never really know how to, come to it. You know what I mean? But at the time I had roommates, and my roommate used to record music all the time. So I feel like just seeing him consistently work and him bringing people over and they were consistently working, when you're around that environment, you pick up on that energy. So I kind of just, it motivated me to go from there.
Yeah, definitely. Let's dive a little bit more onto the creation portion of the music versus the production. When you write your music, are you a writer? Let me ask you that first.
Yes, I am a writer.
Okay.
100%.
When you write your music, do you already have like a sound kind of in your head of the beat that you're going to create based upon that, or is it vice versa? Do you create the beat first and then build the song around it?
Definitely create the beat first.
Okay.
Definitely create the beat first. So the only thing I don't do in my production are the guitars. I get those from like other producers.
Yeah.
Like I know a guy, his name is Dreamer. He's actually my favorite guitarist, but he does stuff for like Trippie Redd and like all this other stuff. There's another really dope guy. His name is Oliver Floyd, and he's from the UK. And there's another guy that I really like. His name is Punkhead, and he's also from the UK. But I get all of that, all of my guitar samples, from that. So I kind of base that basically around the guitars, like depending on the mood of the guitars. Like I said, some of them are more uplifting, some of them are more like hype, some of them are more sad. So I guess it really just depends on the mood of those guitars, and I kind of just try to build off that vibe from there.
Absolutely. Is that your favorite instrument, the guitar?
That or the drums.
Yeah.
I love the drums. Like, I could just listen to like just beats where just drums. I don't know what it is. I'll probably say the drums are my favorite instrument, actually.
Have you ever thought about or been interested in learning to play the drums?
Honestly, I've never thought of it, but I am open to it.
Yeah.
I'm very open to it. My stepfather gave me an electric guitar for my birthday.
Oh, that's
Not
dope.
gonna lie, I've never touched it. Well, I have touched it a couple times, but I've never took the time to actually sat down and like play it, unfortunately. But I need to. I'm slacking on that end, but I know that's something I would love to dive into eventually. 100%.
You could incorporate it in like a music video or something. That would be
Yeah.
hard. Like,
Yeah.
even though they won't know that you're not really playing it, but you can act like you're playing it in a music video.
Yeah,
Like,
100%.
that would be hard. That would be super dope.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
So you guys are in the Cleveland area, Cleveland, Ohio.
Yes, ma'am.
All my family's from Ohio. My dad's from Cleveland. My mom's
Nice.
from Columbus.
Nice.
I've still got family in Northern Ohio. So, I spent many, many summers up there. I love it up there.
It's nice.
What is the music scene like for, independent artists like yourself on the rise in your area right now?
So it's a little interesting. I feel like low key Ohio is kind of weird when it comes to the music side. I feel like, well, one, everyone is kind of strict on like one sound, while like someone like me, I try to be more diverse. A lot of people who do end up using my production are
Right.
people from kind of outside of Ohio. Everyone who really shows me the most love are honestly people outside of Ohio. I feel like everyone's low key on the Detroit wave over there.
Yeah.
Like Michigan is like 2 hours from me. Michigan is like an hour from my hometown. So like I feel like people are they just love that Detroit wave. So sometimes, I'll pop up, I'll do my thing, but there's not really a crowd, I guess, specifically for my music specifically over there.
Yeah.
But I also feel like people just move so different over there. They like kind of just hang with themselves, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I feel like there are cliques of like people, but I meet them and they don't even like each other.
Yeah, I think that's everywhere. People are
Yeah.
weird, right?
Yeah, people are weird, but I will say a lot of the like people I've like really messed with the most are like people I've met again outside of Cleveland. Like
Yeah.
there's people I've met over here that are super dope. There's people I met in New York that are super dope. I did a show in Philly as well. Like, and I still talk to all of these people. I can do something like this in Cleveland, try to talk to them, and probably never hear from them again.
Listen, that's why I kind of left Tampa and moved here to Atlanta. Like, I'll always represent my city. I love my city, but I've been coming to Atlanta since the 90s for a very, very long time. I'm OG, you guys. And I've always gotten love out here. So my business partner moved from Florida to here, and he's like, you need to move up here. I said, okay, say no more. Literally 3 months later, I packed my bags and I moved up here.
Yeah, that's commitment.
And it's been a blessing. What about Dayton, Ohio? Are you familiar with like Dayton, Ohio?
Yeah, I have. I know some friends that performed in, I think it's called the Odd Shop or the Odd Body Shop. It's like a small little venue over there. But I'm somewhat familiar, not really. I kind of know about some like music venues. I know like Montana 300 was over there a couple times. But other than that, I'm not super familiar with the Dayton area.
I have an artist that I know very well. He's out here now. He goes by Yellow Pain. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
Sounds familiar. His name does sound
so
familiar.
dope. He's kind of more on the conscious side, but he's from Dayton. And then one of my also good friends that was here interviewing with me recently, G Money. He's a producer.
G Money, I feel like I do know who that is.
Yeah,
that sounds very familiar.
His producer tag says, I made the beat. He's from Dayton, Ohio as well. So Ohio just in a whole is definitely making moves.
Yeah, there is a lot of hidden talent in Ohio, but I feel like honestly people don't really take Ohio super serious for whatever reason. I don't know, it's because there's a whole lot of nothing over there, but in my opinion, because there's a whole lot of nothing, people are either going to sit around or do nothing, or they're going to stand up and do something. So I feel like when it does come to the music scene, I feel like there's a lot of hidden talent in Ohio, not just Cleveland, not just Sandusky, but like Ohio as a whole.
Absolutely. So we were talking a little bit before we went live that you would consider relocating.
Yeah, well, we're thinking about it. I am thinking about moving here to the ATL for sure.
Yeah, definitely. She would be on board as well. That beautiful young lady sitting over there.
We're talking about it. There's a lot of planning. Well, I know she's trying to be a dog groomer. She just got a dog groomer going to be a mobile groomer. So like,
I love that.
Yeah, there's just a lot we low key got to establish. So right now we're kind of just playing with the idea. I know that I'm frequently over here, so like I just try to, I guess, get like an idea, a word of advice, you know what I'm saying, and rather than just kind of blindly moving somewhere, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So we're still kind of trying to figure things out, but I would like to, I would like to 100%.
Yeah, because Atlanta, to me, what I've really learned in my I've been here almost 11 years now, is that it's a great city for entrepreneurs like both of you guys. You can come out here and create your business and thrive because even though there may be other people doing it, there's still room for opportunity here.
Yeah. That's definitely a part of the reason why I want to touch down over here, just because there is so much opportunity and I can really like just have full access to it. You know what I mean? Like, I have like accessibility to do these things now, but because I'm not physically here all the time, it's not as easy, you know, to actually do these things. You know what I mean? So a part of the reason why I want to move over here is to just fully lock in with these people, you know, just go full throttle and hope for the best.
Well, when you guys are ready, let me know, and I'll give you some pointers, do's and don'ts, because I've been here long enough to know where to go, where not to go.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to need that, 100%.
Tell us about Just Getting Started, the project.
Yeah, so that was my very first project. Typically, I kind of just like to do like singles. I'm very keen on like trying to promote myself and like actually having people listen to my music, because I feel like there's a lot of people who like get caught up in the hype of creating music. They kind of fail to realize that there's a whole like business side outside of that, if you know what I mean. So I feel like a lot of people just release a lot of music and unfortunately nobody hears it.
Yes.
So I wanted to, the whole year prior to that project dropping was me not only dropping music to kind of get people's attention of me, but getting the like people outside of that to also pay attention to me, you know what I mean? Get as many eyes on me as possible, because I would hate to drop an album for no one to listen to it.
Facts.
And I don't consider this an album, because I do want to drop an album eventually, and when I do, it's going to be the craziest shit ever. But I wanted to drop a project to push out there, to say I have a project to push out there, essentially. Yeah. And I've been, like I said, producing for about 2-3 years. I've been recording for 2 years, so I am still, you know, I'm just getting started. I feel like I'm just now like getting comfortable. I'm just now like really like experimenting with things, because I feel like, you know, at first it's a little nerve-wracking. I will say it takes a lot of confidence to do stuff like this. It takes a lot of confidence to, you know, talk to you right now, to do performances, to, you know, really do what I want to do, you know what I'm saying? So
you are absolutely right, because I'll get people that'll come through and I'll be their first interview and they're so nervous. And I'm like,
I was nervous my first interview, 100%. You know what I mean? But because I've been, you know, it's a mindset thing. You know what I mean? Like if you aren't confident in your craft, how do you expect other people to?
That's facts. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So with all of that being said, you know what I mean? I'm just now starting to do this. I'm just now starting to get in my bag. So, you know, I may have been doing this for a minute, but I am just getting started.
When you do your performances, how do you gear yourself up? How do you get your head ready to get on that stage? Because it might be a bunch of people that you don't know. You know, how do you get yourself mentally prepared?
There's actually a couple ways I do that. And I recommend anyone do this, but research the like performance, or like research like the venue, the openers, what kind of crowd they're gonna be in, because also like I said, my music is diverse. So sometimes I feel like I can play certain music and it won't exactly resonate to the crowd. So I really try to look at like, okay, what does this what is the demographic for this? Like I know I have I have a performance coming up on my birthday, August 16th.
Happy birthday early.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But I know that when they told me that, they said they wanted it to be more of like a clean set. So I know I have more songs like kind of on the pop side, so I know I can kind of play that. But the performance I did last night, they were more on like the heavier side. Yeah. So I know I can't really be playing like the pop songs like that with them. But also with that being said, I feel like I can't play my heavier songs, you know, at the pop venue. You know what I mean? So again, I recommend anyone like studying the venue, you know what I mean? Really figure out what the people resonate with, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to just be another guy on stage jumping around, you know what I mean? I take a lot of time into like trying to read the room. And I also like, when I make my show mixes, I also practice what I want to say. I feel like that's a very vital thing, because I feel like some people don't know what to say. Some people are just quiet, you know what I mean? When you're performing, you got to catch people's attention. Man. You know what I mean? Because if you don't, you know, it goes one ear out the other, you're just another person performing, you know what I mean? So you got to think of other ways to stick out. Like I know I opened up for Lil Xan back in March. Okay. And I know part of my gimmick for that is I rolled up a bunch of joints and I threw them in the crowd.
I'm sure it worked.
It did work. And I also had a giant joint balloon. I threw that in the crowd.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, some people may not have fully remember me for my music, but I got texts and text messages, and you're like, you're the guy who threw the weed in the crowd?
Look at like the baby when he first went to South by Southwest, he was out there in a diaper.
Yeah, I have seen that. Yeah, I have seen that.
So it's like sometimes, you know, you have to do some off the wall stuff, but it gets people's attention and it draws them in.
Yeah, like I said, like if you are doing a performance, you have to like prioritize getting people's attention, and preferably you got to have them memorize that attention, because that's why they're there. They want to have an experience. They want to make memories. That's why a lot of people do what we do in the first place. So if you don't take that fully seriously, you know, again with the confidence thing, if you don't take that performance seriously, why would other people?
That is facts. Exactly. You can't expect anybody else to take you seriously if you don't yourself. 100%. That's key. And I tell artists too, because I do showcases as well. We just did one this Thursday night here downtown Atlanta.
Nice.
And I always tell artists, you need to do like icebreakers, meaning when you go in there, I'm pretty sure you're not going to know everybody in the building. You need to move around and introduce yourself. Nobody's too big to be able to do that. Some people, they got this pride and like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
You got a better chance of people paying attention to you when you get on stage if they've already made your acquaintance before you got on stage.
Yes, 100%. And I actually, this is some free game right here. So shout out to anyone that's listening to this. You might get some free game. But that's actually why I have this video camera.
Yeah.
Not only to like kind of record my own videos, so I don't have to pay for a videographer and all the other stuff, but that video camera is my icebreaker. I feel like that's an early 2000s camera. It's not an early camera. A lot of people tell me my music gives them early 2000s vibes. So to play with that aesthetic, I bought an early, well, my girlfriend, shout out to her, got me the early 2000s
Shout out to
camera.
your boo. I love it.
But I use that as an icebreaker because I feel like whether I'm doing a performance, whether I'm at a show, I can just be out and about. That camera catches people's attention.
Facts.
So I know that like I go up to people and I can record little footage of them. I know at the performance last night I was going up to the other performers and I was like, I can film your set. You know what I mean? Because not only I can use it as an icebreaker, but as a networker. But I like to also like, here, I recorded you free videos. In return, just post my video.
Man,
you know
that's
what I mean?
dope.
Yeah,
kind of like bartering with them a little bit.
Yeah, because unfortunately, no one will do something for you for free.
Man.
Like, you got to either bring up some bread or you got to bring up some service. You know what I mean? So,
right, facts. Or really build that relationship with somebody. But if it's your first time meeting them, there ain't time to build that relationship.
Yeah.
Like you said, you can barter with them.
Yeah, especially if you're like at a show, you know what I mean? And it can be nerve-wracking, especially because like, let's say you're already nervous about the performance. Now you're telling me to talk to a bunch of strangers.
Facts. And a lot of these artists, it's difficult to get people to come out and support you.
Oh, 100%.
So difficult, let alone be able to pay a videographer to come film your set. So here comes you and say, I'll do it for you. I just need you to post my video. And I mean, really, I think that's dope if artists do stuff like that because it opens you up to their audience and vice versa. If you know you guys, and not to say you don't have to keep it on your page forever.
Yeah, but it's honestly the thought of just supporting each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, I will be lying to you if I said that, like, everyone dives into it. Like, there's some people I've sent videos to, and, you know, that's the last I've heard of them. But I would say 90% of the time when I send them the videos, not only they repost the videos, but again, I continue to talk to them.
Right.
And they'll continue to support me, whether it's just liking my photos or commenting or just straight up actually talk to them. So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
So, videography and editing is something that you want to pursue as well.
Yes.
Let's dive into that a little bit because sounds like you are literally a jack of all trades. You're covering everything. And not only that, it could be a moneymaker for you in the future as well.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah. So I wanted to dive in that because similarly to the production side, you know, videos create an entire vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Besides, I guess, like, album covers, like, when you think of music, there's, like, no real, like, imagery behind that isn't, like, a video or an album cover.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when I wanted to dive in the video side to really just kind of explore the imagery of music, you know what I mean? Because, you know, when we listen to it, you know, our mind kind of does that by ourselves when we listen to music, you know what I mean? So the only way to visually see that is via a video or an album cover. So I feel like I really wanted to dive in the video realm to really, like, just push that to a whole new level. Like I said, I wanted to dive in the production side to create vibes and to create environments. They're making videos in there. You got a whole different thing going.
That
whole
is
different ball game.
Because we are in a visual era. We're 100%. In a content era. You have to document everything. Because if you don't document it, didn't happen.
100%. Yeah.
You can tell people about it all day long, but if they can't see it, it's like, whatever.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So do you want to get into filming music videos, not only for yourself, but for other artists as well?
I am open to it. Yeah. I have tried to put that service out there, but not too many people have really dove into it like that, you know what I mean? But I am 100% open to film whole videos with this camera. I'm super into it, yeah.
I think once you start really doing them for yourself and posting them and, you know, putting that this video was shot by me, edited by me, that's what's going to really generate. Because I know 13 years ago when I first started doing interviews, I was doing them for free because nobody knew really who I was.
Yeah.
And once I started posting them and reaching out to some people, you know, like a Warren G who gave me a shot at letting me interview him, that's how I was able to build my name up to the point where people were coming to me.
Yeah.
It'll happen the same way for you.
Yeah, for sure. Then that's kind of, even in a weird way, part of the reason why I'm over here, because I know there's like this little community that I feel like resonates with my music pretty heavy.
Yes.
So if I can play with like that imagery within my music as well, you know what I mean? All of it kind of comes full circle. Because a lot of people say not too many people care until other people care.
That's facts.
So if I get footage of these other people caring, I feel like everyone else will.
So you opened up, you said, for Famous Dex?
Famous Dex, Lil Xan, and Wi-Fi's funeral.
What was it like? Because each of them are different. What was it like opening up for these artists, you know, who have some popularity already?
Honestly, it's interesting. And I will say, like, it's sometimes not exactly what you think it is. And I mean, in the essence where, like, yeah, I've opened up for 3 major artists, but I would only say only one of those artists feel like they actually gave a fuck. Like, I feel like they actually put in time to not only be there, but to coordinate the event and to promote it and to actually make sure it's going good. And that was a Lil Xan show. All the artists were hella late, by the way. All the artists were late. But I know
drives me insane.
It drives me crazy because these are like big deals for people like me, and even for like for people who don't make music, for the audience. For the audience,
the
like
fans
these
that are
are
there.
like big deals. But to see these people like not really care like that, it's kind of unfortunate. You know what I mean? And this is not to bash Lil Xan or not Lil Xan, Famous Dex or Wi-Fi's funeral. You know what I mean? If anything, this is their PR team, but. Like, I go to these events and, like, low-key, I bring the most people.
Yeah.
They don't even really promote the event. You know what I mean? These guys are late. They don't even really, like, some people don't even think they're coming out. So by the time they do come out, there's not as much any people there. And it's unfortunate because you would think the opposite. You know what I mean? So...
Trust me, I know, because I get some bigger artists that'll come through for interviews, and a lot of times they feel like they can come when they want to. Like, if I tell them to be here at noon, they think 12:45, 1. I'm like, bro, I have a whole schedule to keep.
I swear, and, like, it's unfortunate, but, like, I feel like it's an ego thing. Like, they're already in the industry. They, in a weird way, have already collected their bag. You know what I mean? So, like, in their mind, why do I really need to care this much? You know what I mean? So, it kind of just add a different perspective, you know what I mean? And then even in my essence, where it's like, I want to show that I care more.
I was just going to ask you that. With seeing that type of behavior from other artists, does it make you want to really, like, buckle down and do everything the right way and stay that way once your name gets big?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I want to stay, like, engaging with the crowd. I want to be on time. I want to actually promote the damn event. Like, I feel like that sounds like too much to ask, but it shouldn't be. Like, you guys need to promote your events. Like, I'm tired of being the only one promoting the event. I'm tired of the only one throwing money to promote the event. I'm tired of bringing the most people. Like, you guys are in the industry. You guys got more monthly listeners than me, and you guys make more money than me. So there should be no reason why you're not doing it.
Facts. And to me, it screams unprofessionalism. I'm sorry, not sorry. I'm sorry, not sorry. But
it is what it is.
It is what it is. Like, if they show up intentionally, sometimes things happen with it. That's 100%. Not in your control. Flights are delayed or there's an accident. We can't control that. But if you intentionally show up late just because you want to walk in and make this appearance, to me, it screams you're unprofessional.
100%. So, yeah, it definitely just adds a perspective on, like, what not to do and what I really want to do.
Yeah.
Like, okay, these guys aren't doing that, so I know because they're lacking in that, I can come in and, like, kind of, like I said, go full throttle on that, and then that will make me stand out a little more because I, as a lower artist, I'm doing more than someone who's bigger.
Yes, absolutely. What is the longest show set you've done so far?
It was, my longest show set was probably like 30 minutes.
What?
And
wow.
And that's definitely long because a lot of my songs are shorter.
Yeah.
So, like, that means I'm playing a lot of music.
songs.
Yeah, I'm playing a lot of music. But this was when I did a house party performance in Chicago. I've done this twice, but this was the first time I went, and I guess they just rocked with me so much, they did it in encore. So
that is dope, man.
Yeah,
how did that make you feel?
It was awesome. And actually, the way all of this went about was even crazy, too, because at the time, you know, I was also living with my brother, and again, this is a free game right here, but I used to work in this little area in Cleveland. It's called Crocker Park. And essentially, it's just like a giant outside mall. It's kind of like an attraction outside of Cleveland. But what I used to do is I used to, like, print out, like, I used to go to the library, and I used to print out, like, I used to make my own flyers. and I would go to the library and I would print them out. And like, no, they weren't the most professional looking flyers and all that, but essentially I would pull up to work early,
right?
And I would just put my flyer on random people's cars.
Listen, that type of stuff, they call it like guerrilla marketing per se. It works.
It works because someone took the flyer, they text me on Instagram, they're like, I love your music so much, I want you to perform at my house party. And at the time, like, your boy wasn't doing the best financially, so they gave me a free ride there. They let me stay for free. They fed me, and then when it came to my performance, they just showed me so much love. Like, that was probably the most lit performance I've ever had so far.
That is dope, man.
And all of that happened solely because I was putting flyers on people's cars. You know what I mean?
Listen, when I first started in this industry, I was outside of clubs promoting my club event that's at a different one, because I started out hosting at a club. And I was out there sometimes 1, 2 in the morning, you know, because the clubs, you know, they be staying open until 3, 4 sometimes, putting flyers on people's car. Well, I'm like, I'm not too proud to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And it's attention. You know what I mean? Very similarly to posting an ad or something. They're either going to look at it or they don't.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I mean, they might have a reaction because they're putting something on their car, but besides that, that's like that's the worst thing that can happen. But the best thing is you can get a whole ass show out of it for free.
No, that's facts. Absolutely. You're a walking testimony.
Yeah, so I recommend everyone doing that. And I know even like we were talking about icebreakers, I wanted to do this, but I feel like we didn't have time because all the shit that we were doing. But I wanted to print out flyers to like do at shows. You can like print out pictures like at Walmart, you know what I mean? So like you can make a flyer like from your phone or something, and then you can print it out on Walmart so it actually looks like a flyer, like it's the same size and everything. And if you don't have a camera to use as an icebreaker, pass out flyers. You know what I mean? Be like, hey, I'm performing tonight. Like, if you can really pay attention to me, that'd be great. You know what I mean? And do the same thing to the artist. You know what I mean? So that could be a pretty good icebreaker. And, like, if you have a QR code on that flyer, now they have accessibility to reach you easier than prior than you didn't.
Absolutely. 100% you're right. Because people, like you said, people will pay attention to you more when you get on stage because they're like, oh, he came up and introduced himself. He was cool. Let me watch it. Also, like, these type of retractable banners, like the one or this one over here.
Yes, I have one of these,
Those are great, too.
Yes, I have one. I have one that has like my name and it has like a picture of me and it has a giant QR code. So I have those when I do more like local performances. But when I'm like out of state, it's because I can't. It's more expensive to bring a big ass.
It's a hassle. I get it.
It's so much of a hassle. But yeah, I always recommend doing something like that as well. And it's not super expensive either. It's like $100 and it comes out
$100. Yes,
in great quality. And honestly, because not too many people do it, by default, I bring it out, it catches attention.
And I like that one and that one I designed them myself. I went on Canva. Shout out to Canva.com.
Yeah, I made mine on Canva too. Shout out to Canva for sure.
I'm like, listen, we be balling on a budget. You know what I'm saying?
You know, it's not about what you have, it's about what you can do with it.
That's right. Absolutely. What do you want to do with your music career? Like, do you see yourself, leveling up to the point where you ever want to sign, or do you want to stay independent?
Honestly, I'm not fully sure, just because I feel like when I hear about labels, I low-key only hear bad things. Like, I really like how Russ talks about being independent.
I love Russ, man.
And like Tory Lanez, like they made crazy. They may not be A-list celebrities, but they probably make more than rappers that are signed solely because they're independent.
Facts.
And yes, they may or may not have to put in more work, but shit, that's the cost of doing anything. You know what I mean? Whether it's doing music or doing a 9 to 5, the more work you put in, the more money you're gonna get out of it in the long run. So. I probably don't. I low key want to stay independent. If I was given a good deal, I would take it, but I would still want like 100% full control. You know what I mean? I would still want to make a decent amount of money. You know what I mean? But if I can't get that, I definitely plan on staying independent. 100%.
And it's difficult because most of these labels want creative control. That's what a lot of artists complain about, is being signed and they can't release music on their terms.
Yeah.
I compare being independent to being like an entrepreneur versus if you're signed, it's like having a job working for somebody. I love being an entrepreneur. I don't clock in for nobody. You know what I'm saying? So being independent is kind of the same thing. You can go do what you want, when you want, charge what you want.
Yeah, everything is on my terms. And the same thing with having like my own equipment. I record everything in my house. My second bedroom is my studio.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I go in, do what I need to do. I do whatever I want, however I want, when I want, and it doesn't cost me any money or none of that stuff. And I just would hate to lose that accessibility. You know what I mean? Like, that's what got me started into this, was that time accessibility. So why would I sign? I mean, yeah, I get more money, but what does that money really mean in the long run? You know what I mean?
Facts. And I think it's important as a creator, you have to have a creative space in your house, which
100%.
you've done, because you might wake up in the middle of the night one night and have something on your heart that you need to go get off now.
Yes.
Boom, you walk into your creative space, your home studio, and you can make it happen.
Yeah, another thing is like the time. Like I've been in real paid studios before, and honestly, I just feel rushed the entire time. Like I personally, not only I take a very long time writing my music, but it definitely takes me a minute to like record music because I just try to sound the best.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like it definitely low key be taking me like 2 hours just to record like a hook. You know what I mean? And like you're gonna charge me like $50 an hour just to do that when I can just do it at my house? Like what?
Listen, my significant other, he also creates music as well. He's an audio engineer. He produces kind of all this, does everything himself like you. And I'll hear him in there because like we have a 2-level house, and the 2 bedrooms downstairs, one is my home podcast studio where I do my virtual interviews, and then right next to it is his studio. And I'll hear him over there sometimes running it back over and over and over.
She hears that all the time too. She's like, damn, like shut that shit off already.
Right. And he'll do it like 800 times, but he's like, same thing, a perfectionist.
Yeah, you got to, because, you know, very similar to what I was saying earlier. If you're not confident in fully what you're producing, then how do you expect other people to?
Absolutely. How many times, okay, say you've recorded a song, you've got your mix and master done. How many times would you say you listened to it from that point? A million?
I couldn't even tell you a number. I couldn't, because there's just so many different instances when I'm listening to it.
Like in the car?
100%. There's the car. There's like, I'm listening to it when I'm first recording it, but then I'm also listening to it when I mix and master it.
Right.
So those are like 3 different times where I have to very frequently listen to the song. And I will also say it kind of just varies on like my energy at that time, because there's some songs where I feel like I can kind of record and like that, and you know, everything comes easy. But then there's other songs where I feel like I'm not able to fully execute in the time that I want to.
Yeah.
So it takes longer, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, practice makes perfect.
Absolutely. Do you ever like get a song completely done and then you're like, you know what, I want to go back and change this?
All of them. There might be one song where I feel like, I think it was my song Fearless, where I did it same day, recorded it same day, mixed it, and everything was done in one day. But for the most part, there hasn't been a time where like I always go back and do something.
Make little tweaks and changes.
Yes, I always go back and do something.
But that's what's so dope about you creating the entire process, is because you have access. You don't have to hit up your engineer and be like, hey, bro, can you add a little reverb here?
I swear, yeah.
That's a pain in the butt.
I swear. And honestly, I'm so impatient. Like
I am too.
I hate waiting on people.
Yeah.
Like I have to wait on someone to just do little things like that. You know what I mean? And especially if I'm paying money for it. I just hate it. I'm so impatient. Like I'd rather just do it on my own time. I can do it now. I can do it when I want. If I'm not doing it in the time frame that I want to, and there's no one to blame but myself.
That's why I invested in buying my own cameras, and I film all my own interviews, and I edit my own interviews now because I was paying somebody and they were taking forever. And then, you know, you got to make changes and it takes forever for that. Now you got your client saying, where's my interview? I said, you know what? Forget this. I'm going to go buy my own and teach myself how to do it. YouTube University, you know?
Yeah. And that's another thing right there, too. Just YouTube. Like, I am so keen on this. We're in the day and age where we can learn anything at any time.
Period.
So,
for free.
Like, for free. You know what I mean? And like, you know, say what you want about AI, you know what I'm saying? But like, especially with AI, we can have these things in seconds. You know what I mean? So
that's facts. When I make my clips from the interview videos, I run them through CapCut because CapCut does a great job of like if the person's moving,
the tracking. Yes, I also use CapCut.
And then it'll, you know, you can put the words on there and stuff like that. So I'm here for it.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's just, you know, with open accessibility, you know what I'm saying? With everyone being able to use something, there's bound for someone to do something.
That's facts.
But yeah, with all that being said, we have everything. We can learn anything at any time.
That's right.
I mean? So I feel like the only thing that's stopping us is us.
We're the only person that gets in our way.
I swear.
Like my business partner, he's an OG. He's 63. He's still going hard. He's been in this industry for over 30 years, a long time.
Nice.
But he always says, stop pointing the finger and start pointing the thumb. Taking accountability for our own shit, you
100%. You know, I mean, that's not just in music, but just in life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Period.
I'm very firm in believing where you may not be able to control the things that happen in your life, but you can control how they affect you.
That is facts, and how we react to it.
100%.
Not everything deserves a reaction, you guys. You know what I'm saying?
100%. Again, I can't control how like it happened. I can't control like all that stuff, but I can control how it affects me from here on out. Like whether I can do something now, or I can plan something now, or I can learn something now.
That's why it's important in life to be proactive versus reactive.
100%.
When we're proactive, we have a better chance of stuff kind of going the way we want it to because we properly planned for it versus reacting to it after it's already happened. And now we might end up in a bad situation because we reacted to it.
Yeah, and it's also just good to just sit down and just think. You know, I feel like sometimes, like, as crazy as it might sound, I feel like that too, people really step back and really just examine things that are really going on. They just react, you know what I mean? But they don't sit there and like think and like process things, you know what I mean? Because you don't want to act on emotion, you know what I mean? If you
that's facts.
If you act on emotion, you know, it always ends up bad in some way, shape, or form.
Period. And me, my other thing is I think, but sometimes I overthink.
I get that.
I get in my own head and my own way sometimes.
Yeah, that happens. But you kind of just have to know that balance.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like I know, like when I'm making music, I know what I'm like getting in my head because there's times where I can like hear a take and I'm like, wow, this sounds really good. Hear the whole song over. Okay, I don't like how this sounds. Let me run it back, and then I'm like back and forth on how it sounds. I'm like, okay, like at that point, I know that I'm in my head about it. So like I kind of just step aside. You know what I mean?
That's what you got to do.
You know, let my brain reset, whether it's just, stopping for the day or just taking a little break.
Facts.
Or, you know what I mean? But, if you're aware of being, if you're overthinking, there's other ways you can maneuver with it.
Definitely. What I always do is I always try to keep myself busy doing something so I'm not focused on thinking about what I'm overthinking about. I'll switch gears for a while and I'll even go for a walk or just do something to get my mind off of it.
Yeah, just do something different. Like I know if I'm overthinking about a recording, if I want to continue to make music, then I'll just make beats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or I'll write some lyrics or you know what I mean? Like there's always something you can do to help reset your brain.
100%.
Always.
Let's talk about this record called Style.
Let's get it.
Everything done by you, but you do have a feature on it. How did this song come about?
It was interesting. So sometimes I feel like making the music I make, I send sometimes people don't really like get into it as a whole just because it's a different sound.
Yeah.
But sometimes when people do, I feel like it's kind of harder to get the exact feature I want to get.
Yeah.
Not that like I want like a specific person, but I feel like sometimes a lot of people just do a verse.
Yes.
If you know what I mean. Not too many people like read the energy of the song. Some people are just like, okay, how can I sound on this? And like I feel like I sent this song to a lot of people and no one really had like, there were good verses. They weren't exactly bad, but they never really fit the whole song.
The connection wasn't there.
They never fit the song. And I remember I sent it to one person who I knew makes music and I met like way back in the day. And I sent him the song and then his friend texts me and he was like, yeah, the guy sent me the song and here's the verse. And I'm not gonna lie, at first I was not happy. So like I'm huge into like Lil Uzi and like Cardi and all those guys.
Yeah.
And if you know anything about their music gets leaked all the time.
Yes.
And low key, some of it's kind of his fault, but all the time it's just the people around him, you know what I mean? They just, just want to leak the music, you know what I mean? And I just felt like it was just extremely disrespectful.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like I sent the song to you.
You know not that person and that person.
And like, the feature, shout out to Huntaps. He had the best feature. He did his thing. I brought him out for the Lil Xan show. So like he's a great guy. He makes dope music and, shout out to him. But the guy who sent him the song, look, I don't hate you, bro, but I'm probably never gonna send you a song ever again.
Yeah, that's rule right there. You do not do that.
And
like,
even if you would have like said something, if you'd be like, "Hey, I'm not crazy about this, but I send it to this guy. I feel like he can do something," it would be completely different. But I haven't heard from this guy since I sent him that song.
That's good.
You know what I mean? So
bye.
Yeah. So like it puts into perspective. I'm like, okay, well, one, who else is like sending out my music like that? Who else did he send that song to? Like, and especially with me making my own beats, you know what I'm saying? It takes a lot to even get these samples sometimes. Like I said, that dude Oliver Floyd, he's from the UK.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So to kind of like, for us to agree on something is not exactly easy sometimes when it comes to like using and like clearance and all that like stuff, you know what I mean? So for just someone to just send it to other people, like I said, I found it extremely disrespectful.
I agree.
But I guess one thing that came in the, in the long run was I got the verse.
You got the verse that
I got
fit.
I got the verse that I wanted in the long run. So it ended up working out like in my favor, you know what I mean? So
we have to listen, I'm the type of person, I try to pull the positive out and everything, and it sounds like you do as well. That was the positive. God intervened and said, "No, this dude is not the one," but we got his friend who is the one.
Yes. So it's crazy how it works, you know what I mean? And again, it's no hate towards the guy, you know what I mean? But again, like, don't send other people's music like that.
Right.
Don't do that.
Right.
That's a message to anyone. Do not send music like that, bro. Like, please don't.
Well, before we check out the record, tell everybody where they can follow you out on your social media.
All right. Again, my name is Rey Ángel. My Instagram is Rey Ángel Official. That's ELREYANGEL Official.
Definitely.
Yep, and you can find all my shit everywhere: Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, fucking LimeWire, you name it, I'm on there.
Definitely. Anybody you want to give thanks to for supporting your movement? Or
Oh,
shout out to?
100%. Shout out to my girlfriend,
Yes.
Rey Upton, who helped bring me here and to help make me afford everything coming here.
I know, that's right. Shout out to her.
Shout out to you,
Of
Tampa
course.
and Hype 97 or Hype 87.3
Absolutely.
for having me here in the first place. Shout out to the guy who organized the show last night. His name is Doomslayer. So
Okay.
shout out to him. Shout out to my barber Chubbs.
Gotta shout out to Barbara to keep you fresh.
Yeah, for keeping me right. And I told him that I was gonna shout him out tonight. So I'm doing that. And honestly, just shout out to my family. Shout out to my mom. Shout out to my brother. And just shout out to everyone in my life.
I love it, man. Definitely. Well, let's get into the record.
Let's get it.
Introduce it for us.
All right. This is Rey Ángel on Hype 87.3, and here's in the style featuring Huntaps on Just Getting Started.
Let's go.